Hey everybody, welcome back to Feeling Saucy. My name's Anthony, and today we're going to make pestos, dueling pestos. We're going to do a fresh basil pesto, which most people are familiar with, and then we're going to make a sage and walnut pesto to go over our homemade raviolis that we're going to make in a coming video. We're going to do a wild mushroom and homemade goat cheese ravioli. But first, let's get started with our basil pesto. So the main ingredients in a basil pesto traditionally would be basil, garlic, toasted pine nuts, and a little bit of salt, pepper, lemon juice, and olive oil. So we're going to get started. I'm going to take my peeled garlic, add it right to the processor with the basil. We're going to take just a few of the toasted pine nuts and put them in there as well. Pinch of kosher salt, a little bit of freshly ground black pepper, and we're just going to pulse that to break it up a little bit, okay? Just to get that nice and broken up. So now we're going to start adding some olive oil, okay? So I like to get a nice fruity extra virgin olive oil. Okay, we're going to add that, and then just a dash of water. I like to add water just to add moisture to it. Now, when you're cooking with a pesto, a lot of times it'll separate while it's in the pan with whatever you're putting it on. But I have a little trick that'll keep that from happening and give you a lot more use out of this pesto than just a pasta sauce. Okay, so we're going to take some avocado. Now, avocado has a very mild or neutral flavor, but it's full of good fat. And this fat is going to bind this pesto together. Okay, so we're going to put that right in there. Turn it on. Now, the word pesto comes from, it really means a paste, to pound into a paste. And what the people would use would be a mortar and pestle, which is that little stick and the bowl. And you would just grind it up in that bowl until it became a paste. But we're going to do it the modern way and take a nice shortcut here. So we have that in there. Now the most important thing when you're cooking anything is tasting your food. So it has the salt, it has the flavor, but it's not balanced. Now we need to have balance. So when I'm tasting this, I'm getting it just right here in the middle of my tongue. But in order to bring it around my entire palate, I need to start building flavors with acidity. So I have a little bit of Prosecco white wine vinegar. We're just going to add a drop. Most pestos won't call for the vinegar. Okay? We're going to add a little bit of lemon juice. Now the vinegar, once I add the vinegar, I'm going to start tasting it back here where you would normally taste acidity, like sour acidity. But when I add the lemon juice, right, just a little bit of lemon juice, I'm going to start tasting it here where I pucker, right? A little bit more salt is going to bring it up the sides of my tongue. Now basil is naturally sweet, right? It's a really great herb to work with and to taste. It's really nice and sweet, but so there I'm having it. I'm getting it all over. The only place I'm not tasting it is the tip of my tongue. And that's where this comes in. This is crushed red pepper flakes. Okay, and the capsaicin, the oils in the chili, will actually wake up your tongue and cut through all that good fat from the avocado and the olive oil and and break that up so you could taste everything in the recipe. Okay, so we're going to grind that up a little bit more, and we have this really nice bright green pesto. Now this can work great on a crostini. It'll be great. You'd lay it across some shrimp or a piece of grouper, throw it under the broiler, and this will hold up really nicely because of the avocado. So now we're going to make a little spin on that. All right, we're going to do another pesto with fresh sage leaves. So I have my sage right here. Really aromatic, great aromas to there. We're going to take, again, some garlic, but this time we're going to add toasted walnuts, all right? Because these flavors really go well together. So we're going to do the same thing. We're going to puree that down to a paste. It's nice and crumbly right now. We're going to add our lemon juice, okay? We're going to add our vinegar for the same reasons. We want to balance those flavors. If you wanted to, in a pesto like this, you might even want to use a little bit of sherry vinegar. Okay, so now we're going to add our olive oil. Don't get too much with the oils because you don't want a greasy pesto, right? So now we're going to turn that on again. And now we have a nice wet paste there. So we're going to season it, salt, pepper, and the binder in this pesto to keep it nice and bright green is going to be blanched green peas. And this here will keep it nice and bright and hold it together just like the avocado did in the basil pesto. All right? We have this really nice, vibrant green. A little bit of water. Okay, let's give it a taste. Oh, that's incredible. Okay. Now, normally I would put cheese in these, but the cheese is going to go right on top of the pasta, and this one here is going to get mixed with homemade goat cheese. Okay, because coming up in another video, we're going to make goat cheese and wild mushroom raviolis with a sage pesto cream. Okay, so we have our pesto right here. We're going to take our homemade fettuccine, which we made last week, drop it in some boiling water with just some salt. Don't add oil to your water. That's an old myth that you need to add oil to your water. When you add the oil to your water, what happens? The sauce slides right off. So just a little bit of salt is all you need. There's enough fat in the pesto that will keep anything from sticking to it. Okay, so let's take a little bit of our pesto. We'll pop it right here in our bowl. Now, fresh pasta will cook in about 1.5 to 2 minutes, where box pasta takes anywhere from 8 to 12 minutes to make it al dente. This one here is going to be ready in just a minute. Here we go. Look at that. Beautiful. See how nice and fresh that is? Did not stick together, and there is no oil in this water. So we're going to take that pasta, let a little bit of that water drain off, stir it around in our pesto, and I know what I'm having for lunch today. Here we go. Nice, fresh fettuccine with a basil pesto. And the reason we saved those pine nuts is just to put a little bit on top. And there you have it. Homemade fettuccine with basil pesto. And wait for us to come back, because we're going to come back and make a goat cheese and wild mushroom ravioli using this sage pesto right here. Thanks for watching Feeling Saucy. I'll see you next time.